What a world we live in. You can just find anything on the internet anymore. Mouth to dildo, dildo to ass, ass to ass. But the one thing you can't find is a top quality film podcast unless you go to patreon.com/recesscastproductions. For less than the cost of an expensive pool table, you will inevitably break in your marital spat. You can support our show. With that, you can get bonus episodes, early access, exclusive content just for you. Again, it's patreon.com/recesscastproductions. It's the anal beads of podcasting. Enjoy the show.
We used to be cool, back in the day, back on the block, watching PG-13 movies, staying up way after dark. Then we had a couple shorties, and now we're really flossy, cause now we be rolling with our own little posse.
We may have started this podcast, but this is certainly not another midlife crisis cry for attention. Welcome to the After Credits Cast, the only film podcast to dive deep into the Nick Cage hole twice. I probably shouldn't use the word hole. And if you support our show, we may inevitably do it again. I'm your host, AJ Waseska, and I'm joined by Ryan Metters.
Ahoy.
And of course, as always, wait, actually not always, she's just been around for a little while for reasons I still don't understand. Nicole, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing alright. Glad we're going down the Nick Cage hole again.
Gotta use the word hole, I suppose.
Just can't.
Yep, we're digging.
We can't escape it.
No, we're digging deeper than ever before.
You might say elbow deep, even.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say shoulder deep.
Oh my god, why did I just check for how long my arm was? Oh god. What are you trying to grab?
Well,
the heart? What the fuck?
Well, if you want to go deep with us too...
Yeah, you haven't seen that hentai?
If you want to go deep with us too, you can go to patreon.com/recesscastproductions. You can also go to our YouTube channel, our Acast page, Apple Podcast, whatever Google has switched over to, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Podbean, and a bunch of other places. Google us, you will find us. There's an intro song for this episode. The editor will insert the name here.
The parent rap by Right Now Media.
I don't know what it is currently, but the editor will tell you. Welcome to our show. We've done this once before, Ryan, where we talked about a particular actor doing his particular thing, and without missing a beat, we figured we'd do it again. This is what happens when all the new movies get delayed, and we have a bunch of empty spaces in our calendar.
Yep.
Not that this is like a last-minute decision or something we didn't want to do. It's just a good excuse to do it.
And I just want to let everybody know that I suggested this
Yes,
one.
Nicole suggested this one.
Yeah, this is
So
a pretty
that should give you
nonsensical one.
some sort of idea of what kind of movie
I think
this
the
is.
last one I remember you suggesting was Raw, wasn't it?
Yeah!
Oh god, I almost threw up. Oh no, I just remembered that movie. No.
But also, don't forget, we also are doing a new movie with this season, so technically, we are still obligating our keeping this real with the timely releases coming out. Because we didn't expect Willy's Wonderland to be a thing. And then Ryan, so graciously, put it on the table and said, hey, I have found this dead bird. Can we please use this dead bird? And I'm like, yes, we could use this dead bird, Ryan. Way to go.
Yep, this is on me.
Go, right?
I am responsible for Rage in the Cage season 2. I saw the hole and I was like, we should not step in that hole, but it's our duty as podcasters. It's my personal duty, regardless of how uncomfortable this will make me.
To
bring
And
this
while
to
you were
people's
monologuing, I just Spartan kicked you into the hole.
God!
I cannot wait to talk about the animatronics. That's going to be so much fun. Well, to kick off our newest season of Rage in the Cage, we will be talking about Mom and Dad, which released in 2017. Written and directed by Brian Taylor, who also worked with Cage on Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Don't worry, we'll get to that someday. Maybe. The film made $165,000, which is about 2% of what it cost.
2%? I know milks that are stronger than this. Oh no. That's so sad.
Now, to be fair, Ryan, it's only open in 24 theaters, so that's probably got something to do with it.
Yeah, definitely.
It was definitely one of those, like, indie festival release kind of things. It wasn't, like, a wide release, so... Kind of weird that you would do that, but I don't know.
Though I'm pretty sure the first My Little Pony movie made more than that, and it also had a limited release.
Yeah, but My Little Pony's got never mind, Nick Cage's got a weird fandom too. I don't know who's... I guess the My Little Pony fandom is stronger than Nick Cage, which is...
Oh my god, guys, that's the next Nick Cage movie. We have Nick Cage crossover with My Little Pony.
No, absolutely
we
not.
We get the Cage-Ax, and we get the Bronies.
I forget that.
It's perfect.
I refute
It's perfect.
this. This is an actual sign of the apocalypse.
Well,
Please.
hang on. I think Nicole's got something here. Let me pitch this to you.
Yeah,
You do have My Little Pony with Nick Cage, but you have to have Willem Dafoe in there too.
Oh, of course.
Mm-hmm. He plays one of the ponies who's like, I want to kill Spider-Man.
Of course.
You know what? I wouldn't have thought that
Perfect.
we would have gotten Nick Cage in fucking Spider-Man, but stranger things have happened, so...
Yeah, it can be the new Space Jam for this generation.
Well, no, the new Space Jam for this generation is going to be with LeBron James.
No, fuck that Space Jam. We're gonna make our own Space Jam with Blackjack and Hookers.
You know what? Forget the Space
It's
Jam.
Nick Cage, so yeah, those will just be in his rider. Those will just be in his contract.
They're in his trailer right now, actually.
Yep.
The cast includes, before I forget, Olivia Crocchia, Joseph Reitman, Sharon G. Robert T. Cunningham, Zachary Arthur, and Winters, Selma Blair, who I realize I only see in like one other thing, and then of course Nick Cage as the Big Daddy.
God.
Not the other
Oh,
Big
yeah.
Daddy, but this Big Daddy. There's a couple daddies he's played. This is just so you know.
It's almost as
He's
murderous
the
as the other Big Daddy.
Yeah, but he gets more screen time in this one,
He does.
which is
That's true.
kind of sad. This movie did win an award, a jury prize from the Mullins Film Festival for Best Director.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all
That's interesting.
That's all I really got. Ryan, I think you have some fun facts for us.
Indeed. I have two of them for you. Nicolas Cage said that this was his favorite movie that he had filmed in 10 years. Which is surprising.
I mean, it's
He's
been
worked
longer
on
than
some
10 years
real
since he did
good
Face
stuff.
Off, so...
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not counting Face Off in that, so that's fair. Yeah. Okay. I mean, he did, like, to be fair, he did get to go balls to the wall on this one. So, I mean, like him not having to hold back is probably definitely
Oh, yeah.
why.
He definitely took the balls past the wall.
The balls went
Alright,
so
well-
far through the wall, they're the neighbor's house now.
All right. Well, for the final fun fact, in one scene, Cage's character has a quick flashback into his younger years, where he's driving recklessly with a topless woman straddling him. This sequence is also used for Christopher Maloney's character Nick Sachs in Happy, Season 2, Episode 1. I really want to watch it, which is called The War on Easter, when he has a flashback into his younger years during a sit-down with his daughter's teacher. Brian Taylor directed both the movie and the episode. Coincidence? I think not.
I think it's a conspiracy. Probably Illuminati.
Yeah, sounds like a conspiracy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Freemasons all around.
Yep. Well, we have some initial thoughts here. I think everything in this movie is fun. Sorry, it's fun, and everything with Nick Cage is pretty good. Like, again, he is a weird magnet of just bullshit. But this movie just kind of abruptly ends with no real conclusion, and I'm not quite sure what to make of that.
Nicole?
Oh, I have notes again, so not a thesis this time, but some notes.
Okay.
If you want to go ahead. Ryan.
All right. Well, I mean, my feelings also kind of echo Aaron's. I think early on into the movie, I kind of stopped looking for it to make sense, and I just strapped in for the roller coaster ride. So I wasn't as disappointed with the lack of ending heretofore, but I was a little saddened that I really wanted the actual explanation as to why they went nuts. Like I was perfectly fine with the parents just going insane and trying to kill their kids, but I wanted to know why. I mean, are you gonna hit me with the bullshit rationale that the trees are making us kill each other again? Because Shyamalan
no,
did
not
that
again.
shit already. I want to hear
Not
something new.
again.
Dag nabbit. But yeah, aside from that, I had a
Again,
blast.
not the
It was just
trees.
fun.
Yeah, I had theories, and I'm curious to see where you guys are at with them. Because the entire time I was watching it, I kept I kept talking like, okay, this is what's going on. This is a rule. This is how this works. This is how that works. Okay, so this is what's doing that. But then by the end, it's like we didn't get any answers or confirmation. Like, okay, so now what? So
Because the generational gap is also a thing, and now Grandma and Grandpa came up to kill Mom and Dad. I'm like, what the fuck?
Fucking love that.
Lance
scene, but-
Henriksen! We're like, who got Lance Henriksen out of his goddamn nursing home? What is this?
well, I got a quick synopsis for you before we dive too deep. Are you ready for this?
Oh, well, let's get my initial thoughts out of the way.
Okay.
Her initial
First, and then we
notes.
can dive into the synopsis. But yeah, the ending. This one from the opening credits screamed of like older filmmaking. The opening credits really reminded me of like older Tarantino films and older like George Romero films, like Night of the Living Dead. So I saw the parallel there with the ending, which I'm sure we'll go into more later. But this was a grand time all around. I have a lot of notes that will probably have me put on a list.
Like it. I love
That
it.
and the search
But,
history.
Yeah, so I'm probably on some sort of list. Hello, FBI agent that's listening to me. Hope you're having a great day.
I think his name is Ted.
But you're about to hear some things. Yeah.
Well, let's dive deep into
We'll go
this.
into the synopsis.
The film begins with a woman leaving her baby in a car on a railroad with an oncoming train, showing the tone that we're going for already. We then go to our main family, the Ryans. The young boy is your stereotypical boy who leaves shit everywhere and is kind of naive. The teenage daughter is a self-centered brat who steals from her parents and is glued to her phone. Mom is stressed to the nines, and the dad is constantly in midlife crisis mode, complete with having open porn in his office while he's sleeping. Carly, the teen, goes to class and learns about planned obsolescence because subtlety. Everything seems normal, but reports are coming in of parents killing their kids. Soon, school is dismissed in a state of emergency as kids are being called to their classrooms by their said parents. Police try to get involved, but the parents go full Left 4 Dead minus the rotting flesh. Kendall, the mom, has to protect her newborn niece from her sister because whatever's happening impacts her too. Eventually, she and Brent, the dad, Big Daddy, return home to their kids, and that's where the carnage breaks loose. The kids hide in the basement and lock the door. Brent and Kendall try to saw their way in, but Josh, the boy, has a gun. So the parents decide the best course of action is to gas them out. Carly eventually picks up on this, and she finds an escape route and sets a trap. It goes off without a hitch, but Kendall recovers and chases them. Carly's seemingly invincible boyfriend helps, but the kids get cornered eventually, especially when Big Daddy comes into play. Before the kill can happen, the doorbell rings. Oh shit, the grandparents came over for dinner. Of course, Brett's parents are also affected by whatever the fuck this is, and they try to kill Brent. Chaos ensues, people are run over by cars, eventually the grandparents are dead, the parents are tied up, and the kids are watching them, trying to figure out their next move. Brent and Kendall asked to be released so they can be trusted. Obviously they can't. The film cuts the credits before Nick Cage can even finish his final line. And so we are left with so many goddamn questions.
Oh god,
Yeah.
what a movie.
Yeah. This is a movie.
This is indeed a movie.
It is a movie. It has a beginning and a middle, and stuff happens.
I mean, technically the movie does come to an end, but I don't know if you'd call it an ending.
Right.
Well, it has a third act,
Yeah.
so that doesn't necessarily mean an ending.
What if
There is a point in time in which the cameras stop rolling, and yeah, that's the end.
I have to wonder if they ran out of budget, and that's why they couldn't get the last scene in there.
Maybe. God, that would suck.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first
mean,
time,
No,
but
no.
I mean, according to the math from the beginning of the segment, that would mean that this, if it made 2% of what it cost, then the whole thing costs around, what, 8 million?
7 million. 7 million.
7? Oh, boy.
I'm trying to figure out where all that money went to. It had to go to the actors, right?
It has to. Nick Cage, Lance Henriksen.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Plus there are a lot of extras.
Yeah, there are a lot of extras. Yeah. So, where do you want to start? I know, Nicole, you have a lot of notes. Do you want me to start with questions? Do you want to start with your notes? What do you want to do?
We can go with the questions like last time with Godzilla and my thesis, and I'll just kind of sprinkle in my notes.
So I actually
about.
decided to do something a little different this time around. So I have 3 sections with like 3 sub-questions each way, because, I just wanted to organize it a little bit different.
Okay.
So let's start with the general topic of what do you make of the performances in the film?
Well, I personally, every time we do these Rage in the Cage seasons, it's always really interesting to me because when you watch it at first, Nick Cage just looks like a fucking madman. But then as you actually pay attention and you kind of start to break down what he's doing, you can see there is a bit of method behind what he's doing. It's not just him being fucking zany. And so getting those glimpses of actual acting and theory behind informed character decisions, it always kind of causes me to do a bit of a double take. It's kind of the same thing in this movie because while Nick Cage is just fucking bonkers, you can tell he's taking that midlife crisis dad in suburbia and just turning it to fucking 11, since that's what the movie essentially represents for him. It's just going so nuts in the presence of just mediocrity and the same old bullshit that he just wishes he could go wild and go nuts like he used to when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Just them. I really love the moments of just Nick Cage and his wife just sitting there, and for those few moments having a time where it seems like they truly love each other. And just one note I had was that this all could have been solved with some birth control and a condom.
Nah, but you can't have that though, because the government doesn't want you using that.
That's true. I was really ready at the end credits for the Trojan symbol to come up.
This is the best birth control ad you'll ever see.
Exactly. But yeah, those moments of both of them just sitting there, putting aside that they're gassing their children, which, bravo to the mom for that idea. Also, kids are fucking idiots. But yeah, that moment of just character growth for both of them, this was not a spot that either of them thought that they would end up in, but here they are, trying to get through it.
Yeah, they had a unique chemistry I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Yeah, because...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, because when it begins, it's kind of like that, been married for a while, passive-aggressive, kind of marriage that you would expect in this type of setting of, suburbia, white family, 2 kids. But it's in those moments where it just kind of, breaks that.
Yeah, 100%. It's just weird, thinking, there are points in time when you're actually rooting for the parents, because, it's, through a weird sort of movie sorcery, you're watching these people, find each other and reconnect, and like they're starting to remember the things that they love about each other, and they're really starting to get on the same page, and you're just like, "Aw, wait, no, they're killing their kids! Stop! What am I doing?"
No, I was rooting for the parents the whole way.
Oh yeah, but Nicole, you hate children.
I don't know what that says about me. Yeah, I don't know what that says about me as a person, besides I hate fucking kids. But I was rooting for the parents. I was just like, this is amazing.
All right, yeah, Nicole, I'm never asking you to babysit. I'm just gonna.
No, I want to babysit your kids. I want to teach them horrible things.
Just
Yeah,
keep
no,
you
Max
away
and I-
from my kids.
No, Max and I have already talked about this. Whoever has kids, we're going to be that terrible aunt and uncle.
Oh God.
Well, see, the good news for me is you guys live far enough away. I don't think that'll be a problem for me.
Oh, we'll drive to you.
All right, I'm gonna have to speed up the whole get the fuck out of the country plan.
Oh, Max will follow you.
Oh no. Oh yeah, we'll follow.
Damn it!
You act like we won't go out of the country and track you down.
Well, speaking of kids,
no
here's the next
solace.
question. Do you feel Zachary Arthur did a good job playing as a child actor? What do you look for in performances from child actors? He played the little boy.
Oh, the little boy. Unless they have like a major role, I really don't look for anything in child actors. That might just me saying I fucking hate kids. So to me, it's like like they're a prop almost. But like he served his purpose of like that kid not like solely believing that like his mom and dad are gonna save them and not like wanting to believe that they would hurt him.
There were a few moments when they were supposed to be like running in abject terror. I could see the actors smiling to an extent, and
Yeah.
they were brief flashes. But there's one of those things where it's like, oh, they must not have been able to catch that in editing, or oh, they must have just had a bunch of takes and this is the best one kind of thing. And I'm not saying that this is necessarily the kid's fault, but like when I think of other good child actors, like the kids from Stranger Things or the kids that were in Jurassic Park, there's a certain quality to them. I don't think, nothing against Zachary Arthur by any means, but I don't think he's got that same quality.
To be fair, though, those other casts that you mentioned didn't have to deal with Nick Cage just fucking going
That's true.
batshit.
Well, no, but the kids on Jurassic Park had to deal with Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum's a a consummate professional, though. You know.
Oh no, I know.
That's true. You never know with Nick Cage. Like
Nick
there
Cage
were
is-
scenes where I was like, Nick Cage isn't acting. They just put him in costume and threw him on set and left the cameras on.
Like Nick Cage is the actor
Like,
who
honestly, I think,
Jared
like,
Leto
his-
wants to be.
Yeah. I just think I think Nick Cage is so interesting because it seems like in his personal life, his energy is like always kind of up there, and he can play such different and like varied roles, but they usually have to have some like form of like high energy to them, and he just puts all of that into like trying to be as honest to whatever emotion the character is feeling, and it just ends up getting turned to 11, which is still fun, and it's honest, and sometimes it's not great, sometimes it's not Oscar worthy, but you watch it and aside from the laughs you're like, no, I feel him, like I get it, I understand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but he's also not the type of actor that the Academy looks for.
right. Very true.
Because fuck the Academy.
Fuck the Academy.
Fuck the
Yep.
Academy.
Agreed.
Trying to look up something real quick while we're doing that. So my next question. Ann Winters, who plays the teenager. Do you believe she's a believable teenager? Why or why not?
I mean, she was a little shit.
Yes.
I was rooting for her death the whole way.
Yeah, she kind of didn't really. She was not a sympathetic character by any means.
She was that typical white suburban teenager who has had everything handed to her.
Yeah, very true. I think the portrayal was it wasn't meant to be a flattering portrayal. So in that, I think she stuck to her guns and did a pretty good job of that. I wasn't looking for Academy Award winning level talent anywhere in this, but I mean I'll give credit where credit is due. I bought her performance as bratty suburban girl 100%.
Yeah.
I think that my problem with her
I
think my problem with her though is about halfway through the film when we switch gears from it being just her being a teenager to her trying to be in survival mode, she plays it way too smart. She doesn't get the impression she's this survivalist strategist kind of person, but she brings up some really good ideas, and I'm sitting here no, this is not the character you were playing 20 minutes ago. I'm not saying you're stupid,
Yeah.
but I don't think you would have thought this through that well.
Yeah, I also have that feeling. But also a lot of feelings of she's a fucking dumbass.
Which brings me to my final question regarding the performances here. Did you feel like the people were having real conversations, or did some of the writing feel a little bit absurd and silly? And I say this because there's a couple of moments where I'm trying to remember what they were specifically. There's one where one of the kids makes fun of her mom for having saggy boobs and being old, and then there's one where the mom talks about how she says something super mean and critical about her kid behind her back, but I can't remember specifically what it was. It was one of those things where when Amanda and I were watching, she turns to me and she's like, my mom's never talked about me like this, and I've never talked about her like this. This is just not real at all.
Oh, or that flashback where Nick Cage is talking to his son about the old car and how much he fucked in it.
That's not a conversation you have with a fucking 8-year-old child.
Yeah, these are absolutely caricatures. These are absolutely caricatures, but
yes.
I think there's a hint of truth in some of them. Because, I mean, I have, come across really toxic ass mothers who just resent their daughter for being young and pretty, and I have seen fathers oversharing some shit with their kids because they didn't have any friends. Dad, why'd you tell me that? Anyway, so,
totally not coming from personal
absolutely
experience
not
or anything.
Absolutely not. It was somebody that I know. It was somebody that I know's dad. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, his name is Ryab.
Yeah.
See, I would go with
His name is.
I would go with Brian.
His father's name was Donald. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't know if you don't.
But to say all that, I mean, it's they're definitely caricatures. I feel like everything in this movie is a caricature of the underlying psychosis rampant throughout the suburbs. It's take everything that people are usually feeling in the burbs, ramp it up to 11.
Crank it to 11.
And then say, okay, and now the parents get to try and kill their kids. Go. That's this movie.
Go for it.
But Ryan, there is no 11. The amp only goes to 10.
Break that shit off.
No, see, I wrote 11 in Sharpie, and then I turned the dial to that.
That joke will never get old. Okay, so my next set of questions regards the logistics of the film's premise. So, whatever was flipping the parents' switch in the head, that was caused by the radio and TV setting, right? And what are the rules behind all this exactly?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I was waiting for the explanation at the end. I know a lot of people hate exposition. I love that shit because I like to be kept abreast of what the fuck is happening, so I can think it through as well.
Yeah, I think it was something to do with the static, but I also think, like I mentioned before, the parallel to Night of the Living Dead, we never actually find out what was causing the living dead. So, like, that opening credit sequence, I got that vibe of, like, we're not gonna find out what is causing this. We're just seeing it in the moment. We are just seeing, like, this little snippet of what is happening.
I kind of get that. Plus, they do play with the Day of the Dead sort of stuff with everyone more or less acting like murder zombies. Not quite 1-to-1, but like the intention is certainly there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I wish they had done an homage to the elevator scene. Like, that would have been cool. Like, just one brief moment where you see, like, a kid and his friend in the elevator, and, like, outside of it when they open up and they land on one of the next floors, you just see their parents sitting out there with, like, a chainsaw and, like, a fucking mace, and then just you cut away from it.
I think if they had done it on a bigger scope, instead of just following, like, this specific family, because I think that calls back to the first one, where how it ends is just the police coming to the house, black guy gets shot, and it kind of parallels this where, like, Nick Cage is screaming at his kids, and it's just where the audience is left to infer for themselves what they think happened. And I know that pisses off some people, because some people, like, I was reading the Amazon reviews, and it's like, I wasn't explained anything, and I'm like, the director doesn't have to hold your hand. This isn't the movie where they hold your hands, like, here's the story we're going on.
Well, Nicole, I don't need someone to hold my hand, but a nice tap on the butt would be nice.
No, yeah, that's true, you always like a good tap on the butt.
I mean, hell, who doesn't like a good tap on the butt? Come on.
I'll tap you on the butt.
No.
So I guess I have a follow-up question then. So if it was radio and TV static, would those who listen exclusively to podcasts like this show or Spotify have, like, just been totally fine?
Yes, and that's why you need to buy your subscription to Patreon.com. Come on.
That's a good segue, Ryan. I appreciate that.
That's a golden opportunity for a plug. Sorry.
But no. So I was gonna say, like,
Wow.
so would that have been a thing, or do you think they would have hacked the internet waves somehow and just broadcast a static signal on that too?
I think just the news stations would have been enough, because once something like that starts rolling, people automatically go to the news.
Yeah.
So how else?
I'm a millennial, Nicole.
In this?
I'm a millennial, Nicole, so I don't go to watch the news.
That's
I just
true.
go to my Google News feed, just read whatever's on there.
That's true. That's why we didn't get affected.
Okay. Yeah. Question. So, the next one here. So, this is kind of answered in the movie, but there's a few extra steps I want to take you to it. Is it just biological kids? What about foster kids or adopted kids? What about stepkids? And why just stop at kids? Why aren't the grandkids also in play here? Like, I know the grandparents attack the parent, they attack Brent, but if the theory or the theme behind it, which I'll get to in a little bit, is about, the older generations taking out the newer generations, why are the grandparents just going after their kids when they want to go after the newest generation on top of that?
I think from a meta standpoint, if grandma and grandpa were also trying to kill the kids would just be dead. I think that would just be dead. And I think it's hilarious to see old ass Lance Hendrickson trying to kill Nick Cage.
Oh, that was chef's kiss.
That was a fun scene.
Yeah. But I think it has something to do with, like, the child you biologically created. Because the grandfather, like, he's trying to kill Nick Cage, but when he sees his grandson, he automatically goes into, like, grandpa mode. But as soon as he sees Nick Cage, there's, like, that switch. Same with the mom. Like, yeah, she says some passive-aggressive, like, mother-in-law type stuff. But I didn't get the sense that, like, actively trying to kill the daughter.
Which is funny, because she's actively being passive-aggressive to her daughter-in-law, like, right then and there, but she's out to kill her son, which is like, you're not good enough for my son, who I'm trying to murder.
Yeah, but I mean, that also is playing into the caricature of the, like, suburban mother.
No, but I'm just saying I understand the juxtaposition's hilarious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, like that hints at the fact that they were like this without the murder static putting at each other's throats. Like, no, that's just typical how they interact.
That's just typical them.
Final question within this middle section here. What kind of clue or idea was there any kind of clue or idea behind of who was behind the attack and why? And if not, what are your theories? What do you think really happened?
I mean, it seems to be definitely. It seems to be absolutely intentional, is what I'm trying to say, Ryan. Yeah, it definitely seems intentional. I'm not entirely certain by whom, but it seems far too coordinated over stuff that humanity would actively follow. Like traps laid perfectly for humanity. Be like, static? Radio waves? TV signals? Yeah, we're gonna take the whole fucking species out in one fell swoop. So it seems too sophisticated to just be the trees did it, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what, if any, the main message of the movie is. Like I've mentioned before, it seems just like a lot of fun caricatures of like suburban life and like just the madness of suburbia cranked up to like unfathomable levels. So what further aside from that it's meant to convey, I honestly could not tell you.
I think so. As you were talking, and I was thinking about it, I don't think that this was like a country or worldwide thing. Like you were saying, I think this was a controlled thing, and it makes me think to other incidences where the government has taken controlled groups of people and conducted similar experiments on them. One obvious one coming to mind is Project MK Ultra. So that's where my mind immediately goes.
So you think they just wrote off a whole suburb to grisly deaths?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It would not surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, with all of the homages to Day of the Dead and stuff like that, I could absolutely see big government being the ultimate culprit.
Exactly.
Well, this was made in the mid 2010s, where government control and government trust was definitely a questioned thing on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Plus, there's some critique in the media, them showing this stuff and then letting that be part of letting that broadcast be hijacked. So, I can see it going all sorts of different directions there. It's an interesting way to take it. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call, Nicole. I like that.
Yeah, that is my theory, but also, like, I listen to a lot of, like, true crime and stuff like that, so I immediately was like, okay, my mind is racing to all these certain, like, tests, like MK Ultra, the Russian sleep experiment, like, all of that, and like, nope, that lines up, this checks out.
But Nicole, I must say, I insist you keep politics out of my movies.
Yep. No.
So side tangent real quick, because this is funny. I was on the social media, and there was this guy on the, I want to say it was the Star Wars page or a Disney page, complaining about how the removal of certain actresses and actors from Mandalorian has made Star Wars too political, and they have decided they're not going to watch any more Star Wars. And I'm sitting here reading this, and I'm like, motherfucker, the first movie was about rebels fighting an evil empire. How do you not think this is political?
They like those are the kind of people that just completely tune out the fact that the empire was absolutely a fascist state, guys. Come on.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Like, there's an argument to be made that everything's political.
That's why I don't even bother to. Yeah, that's why I don't even bother to read like little gremlin articles like that.
No, but I find them fascinating sometimes when the comments just devolve into it, and I'm like, y'all miss the point of this stuff, don't you?
They are, but there's only like so much stupidity I can take before I want to kill myself.
Yeah,
I
feel
hear
that.
you. Now, admittedly,
That number has gotten a lot smaller for me. So yeah, like when it starts devolving, I'm just like, all right, what else is there to see?
I'm just
today?
surprised it's taken you this long, Ryan, because that number for me has always been really small.
now, in all fairness, Ryan and I, and Nicole, to you an extension as well, we do fish for political theming and political ideology in our movies because it's interesting to discuss. It's interesting to use it as a framework for bigger conversations. I don't think every film's going to have a deep meta narrative like that. I don't think Sonic the Hedgehog did.
Oh, of course
Some
not. Not
movies-
every film is going to have like these connections to political and like government movements. It just so happens to line up here.
I mean,
Some movies you just want to go and watch Michael Bay blow some shit up. That's it.
I mean, for every Sonic the
Yeah,
Hedgehog
there
where
are
it
some
might have an
movies
environment.
like Godzilla.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like when we saw Godzilla, the newer one, like that was there was no need for like deeper thinking of that other than Godzilla said ace rights and the government said fuck you.
Well, and like I was gonna say too, not like the deepest thing you can probably get from like Sonic the Hedgehog is like, oh hey, environmentalism is cool.
Yeah.
Whereas like say for example in Captain America: Winter Soldier, oh Captain America's pro right wing gun control, or no, he's pro right wing
Exactly.
Second Amendment. That's what he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that I brought that up, and Ryan still has his mind blown by it.
No, I mean,
Really? Ryan.
yeah, Steve Rogers,
Ryan.
old school, like right
For
wingers.
as much as you simp for him. Really?
Look, I can't imagine Cap in a MAGA hat. I just can't do it.
No, he wouldn't vote for him. He wouldn't go that far.
antithetical to everything he stands for.
It's all right. You are blinded by your simp energy.
Now I have one
Your
quick.
dick was just raging hard, and you couldn't see it.
Now I have one quick round of final questions here. This is regarding the deeper narratives and themes of the film, which is kind of what we've been getting to a little bit here.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay.
in the classroom scene, it brings up the idea of planned obsolescence. And as film tropes will tell you, this is generally the moment where the core thesis or concept behind the film happens. But what does this film really say about planned obsolescence?
I don't think it actually says anything definitive on it. It's more just like so I feel like the concept of planned obsolescence in material things is bullshit because you don't make things to last. You make things to hook your customers so that they can come to you for the next iteration of that. But it's not really the same with people. People aren't made to be replaceable, or at least in my happy-go-lucky life, like, and my ideology of the world, people aren't made to just replace their parents on this earth. So,
Well,
the concept of like older style iPhones coming, like gaining sentience and trying to destroy the newer iPhones so that they can get used doesn't really like fit humanity.
See, you say this, but consider the fact that you have so many people who inherit the wealth and the stuff of the older generation. Think of all the people who gain from the loss of those old generations. Think of how newer generations push and innovate and do new things, while older generations refuse to adapt and change.
Mm-hmm. Or the amount of times where the younger generation will kill off the older generation in order to gain that inheritance. This is just the reverse.
Well, reverse, and also you don't gain anything other than just you don't lose it.
Well, I mean, the parents kind of gain something where they're not, chained down by their kids in the suburban life that they kind of trap themselves into.
I don't think it's necessarily like on the idea of planned obsolescence is on the forefront of the characters' minds, but I think they do introduce the concept in the classroom for us to be thinking about while all the other stuff's going down for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I mean, like when you look at it from a material standpoint, planned obsolescence is done completely intentionally, like with the sole goal to create a desire for that product, only to have the product fail after a while, so that you have to come back and give them more money for the next version. With humanity, at least ideally, hold on, at least ideally, the older generation wants the younger generation to go further than they got, to do better than they did with this life, and so they try to get them out as far ahead as possible. This is, of course, the completely idealistic version of that, and yes, there's always going to be that a small bit of resentment for the life that you could have had you not brought a child into the world. But the child isn't doing any of this maliciously. The child isn't, in most cases, trying to kill off the parent so that they can get their possessions right away. It's the parents who know that they're going to pass, and they want to make sure their kids are better off when they go.
But I think you're still hitting the nail on the head, though, with the idea that so you say that from what I have learned from parents I've met and from my parents and from so on and so forth, most parents will work tooth and nail to make sure their kids don't make the same mistakes they did. They don't fall the same shortcomings they did, the same failures, and they use the failures that they've had to teach the newer generation. Kind of like how when designers fail to make something right for an iPhone or fail to make something for a computer, they take those lessons and apply it to the next generation. I think that concept still applies. It's just executed differently, but I think that the general conceit is still the same. And take it to a more biological level, look at evolution. We are constantly, and obviously, as humans, we are slowly doing it now, but over the course of many millions of years, we are experiencing planned obsolescence. Not planned by us, but planned by nature in general, where we start as one thing and slowly become more and more efficient, more adaptable to our environments and surroundings to just become better than what we used to be.
Okay, so then what would you say, what do you think the goal of the movie then is when something comes along to completely flip that on its head? Is the point of that to show that planned obsolescence, which is seemingly baked into every aspect of our life, since we're all finite beings, is that just wrong? Or what?
That's kind of the hard thing to suss out because, like I said, there's no real conclusions. There's no real end statement for the thesis. It introduces the thesis for sure, I think, but it doesn't really take it anywhere. That's kind of the problem I've had with the whole film. Unless, Nicole, there's something I missed that you wouldn't bring up.
I definitely agree with you on all aspects of that because I am a cynic. And I will always take Ryan's rose-colored glasses off and smash them.
My glasses!
Because the human race is fucking disgusting, and I could totally see this happening without the involvement of whatever static it was. But that aside, I had a point to this, I think. I went off on my tangent, okay, about how the human race in general is just trash. But yeah, it starts this thesis, this thinking, and I like how it doesn't give you the ending. It does not give you its own answers. You come to your own answer.
See, but there's a difference, though, between this and, say, Death Note's ambiguous ending. In Death Note, it gives you the moral questions and it gives you both sides of it and what their responses are, but it doesn't tell you which is right or wrong. But you still get the answers. Here, there's no answers, there's no right or wrong, it's just everything happens and suddenly just, oh, hey, we're done.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't even really pose like a logical alternative. It goes and says like, hey, this idea of planned obsolescence can actually be seen all throughout life, and even if we look at humans, here it is with the older models getting phased out for the younger generation. And then the movie says, now something happens and the older generation hates that and tries to kill the younger generation. Like, it's not posing like a different question. It's just saying like, this is how things kind of look, and I'm just gonna throw a wrench at it and see what happens. How is it disrupted when the glass is broken open? Like, I don't know what you're trying to prove here. You're like, it's
right.
just,
like it's a really good concept. It's a really good thesis,
and then see what happens.
It's a really good question the film's posing, but it doesn't really go anywhere with it. And that's a frustration I have with it.
Yeah.
That's why I really think this is a government experiment.
Going off the planned obsolescence path here, do you feel it's morally or ethically fair for companies to make products designed to fail or designed to be obsolete in a short amount of time? Why or why not?
I feel like there's a fine line between realism and capitalism, and because I think it is realistic that technology is going to be constantly outdated because there are people constantly thinking up new things, and as soon as something new comes up, it's now brain food for every other scientist and every other person in that field to work off of the idea that you just made to go forward. So the concept of technology constantly like evolving and constantly outpacing things is natural. So it makes sense to plan that you are going to have to make newer versions of shit as things go along. However, purposefully shortening that lifespan so that you can pass along, oh, you've got to get the newer model, and really we're just taking out the fucking headphone jack. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, another good example,
Like,
I don't remember the company specifically. I want to say it might have been Toyota I heard that did this. It might have been Chevy, I don't know who. But I remember reading once or hearing once about a car company, that designed a really solid, really powerful engine. Enough where it could last like hundreds of thousands of miles without any issue. And when they presented this to their board, then presented this to the business people, they're like, no, take it back and make it less efficient, because if you do this, people won't buy new cars.
exactly.
And to me, that's pretty gross. You could make one really solid car and people would love it forever, versus you just making them have to buy new cars all the time.
And that's what capitalism does.
Yep.
That's what capitalism business does to people. It's not about what is good for the consumer. It's about how much money you can make off of them. They're not people. They're things.
Donate to patreon.com/RecessCastProductions.
I mean, it is pretty damn sickening when you think of the amount of things in this world that we actually already have the power to fix. It's just not fixed because not only because it would be expensive to fix, but also the presence of the problem keeps too many people in money. Like, people are making money off of the fact that there is a problem, and if you solve it, then that's going to be an entire revenue stream just gone, you know?
Oh yeah, no.
Exactly.
Same problem with the political spectrum. You want term limits on people in the Congress, people in the Senate, but the only people who can make that happen are the people in the Congress, the people in the Senate, and they won't do that because then they limit their power and their abilities, and why would they ever do that?
One business that just immediately comes to mind, and you can kind of listen more on the pre-roll, but the prison system in America.
Oh, man. Absolutely. I
Shout out
have
to
my
that
own
episode.
little thesis and dissertation on that one. You guys have to check out the
I'm sure we
pre-roll
all
for
do.
that.
Check out the pre-roll titled "What is Hip Hop." Two more questions left, and then we'll move on. We'll see if we can get through them quick. If you were making this film, how would you have better framed the theming into the narrative, and how would you have attempted to resolve it?
What answer can you give this bonkers fucking premise? Like, I don't know. Like, I think Nicole came up with the best idea of it being just a localized experiment by the government. Honestly, that's just kind of that I think that makes the most sense. Just like kind of playing on the idea that there is a biological kind of imperative and tie between a parent and their child. If we can control that, if we can weaponize that, that is an untraceable weapon right there. So just kind of...
And it is at the core. Yeah. They mentioned this before. Like, it is the core of being a parent. Like, you want to protect your child. Like, even my cat's, like, that's not my biological child, but I will fight tooth and nail for that cat. So you can control and manipulate that core instinct within humanity. Just writes itself.
Interesting. Final question I got here. Is newer really better? Or is that just a capitalist idea society has pushed onto us? Why or why not?
Yes. Newer is not always better.
But Nicole...
Most of the time it is.
But Nicole, every Smash Bros. Is better than the one before it. I mean, can anyone really tell me Brawl is not better than Melee? I mean, come on, who would think that?
That's true, but they also don't release a Smash every year like some other video game franchises that looking at you. EA.
Ubisoft.
Mm-hmm. Fuck you guys.
But like, seriously, Brawl is better than Melee. I don't care what anyone says.
Look, man, I don't care. I always just play as Yoshi and Button Smash. You know this. I will spend the entire match just trying to eat you and poop you as an egg.
I know what you're getting at. I'm just trying to piss off the Melee fans.
I know.
Those fucking jackasses with their, like, CRTVs and fucking wired controllers and insisting that everything be done a certain way and not showering. Like, what's up with that?
Fucking hipsters. God, they piss me off. Fucking Melee fanboys. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Melee fanboy over there. I see you going to the subreddit.
We're gonna put us on a list.
Are you gonna QQ more for me, Melee fanboy?
Yeah, this is the list that we get put on. It's not
that's
the overthrowing the government shit. It's not the looking up how people die. It's pissing off the Melee fandom.
I mean, if there's any list I want to be on, it's that one.
I mean, fuck it. Might as well be added onto that list as well.
Listen. Sonic was not in Melee. It's not the best game. So, there.
That's true.
That's a solid argument, guys.
Solid point. Open a check case.
Anyway, that's all I have for questions. Of course, it devolves into something nonsense at the end. You can follow us on.
Of course,
you can follow us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also email us directly. Ryan, if they want to email us some nonsense, what could they email it to?
They can email us at iwishnickcage@. Excuse me. Sorry. That's actually Big Daddy at. Damn.
Ryan, no, not your porn email.
Sorry. I was reading the wrong one. That is evacstation@gmail.com.
You know, Nick Cage actually does have kids. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Weston Coppola Cage and Kal-El Coppola Cage.
Why am I not the fuck surprised?
Something about that both saddens me and at the same time fills me with joy. I don't know how to...
You know, I was gonna be Superman once upon a time. That's why I named my son after him. Oh, God. Mr. Cage, please!
Also, just the name Kal-El Coppola Cage, like it's a tongue twister right there.
Kal-El Cage. That's a fucking Mortal Kombat character. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, but Kal-El Coppola Cage, like, that's got some power to it. Like, that kid's gonna have a big dick. They're gonna have a big dick and some big dick energy.
From his name alone.
Well, let me see.
From his name alone.
Kal-El Coppola Cage.
Yeah. Let me
So
see
he was
this.
born in 2005, so he is almost 16.
Okay,
Is it actually like spelled? Oh my god, it is.
Yep.
It actually
It is.
is spelled Cal apostrophe L. Oh my god.
He has-
okay. So I
He has
see
one acting credit as Bruce Wayne, young Bruce Wayne from Teen Titans Go.
Mhm.
I can respect that. I can respect that.
I see a picture of him and I'm like, yeah, that guy has some big dick energy.
Not Weston Coppola Cage. He looks just average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, hear this. As a quote from Nick Cage, I remembered the old Superman comics and Kal-El was his original name on Krypton. So I wanted a name that stood for something good, was unique, and American, and that's all three.
Yep. Yep.
Nick! Stop it! Sir, please!
What a fucking American hero he
Oh
is.
my god. Kal-El Cage.
I've just got so many questions. I would love to be able to get Nick Cage on this podcast just for an episode, just to interview him, just to discuss life.
Oh my god. Have you guys seen that photo of both of them with a dude in a Snoopy outfit?
Yeah,
Just
I
in
see that
between
picture.
them. It's really wholesome.
I see that picture right here.
Oh my
It's really
god.
wholesome, and I'm pretty sure Kal-El has probably either directed some porn or he's killed someone.
Yeah,
Or both.
with that fucking high chest tat. Yeah, he's
No, I'm talking about the look in his eye. Like he's done and seen some things. And that look is in his eye like every picture I find.
There's probably something haunting him from his past, something that we'll never find out until it's too late. Anyway,
Probably.
we have to wrap up the show, so we'll rank the film from platinum to trash, all the colors in between. So, what are we ranking Mom and Dad?
Oh man.
So
Ryan, in true tradition, start us off.
I had fun with this. I really did. I really did. But it's kind of it's the lack of like a defining like message that kind of gets me with this one that I really don't like. Like the fun chaotic energy all aside, I feel like it poses a question and then just doesn't even attempt to answer it. It doesn't really give you more to think about. It's just like, hey, have you ever wondered da 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 da? Anyway, parents are trying to kill you now. We're like, wait, what? What? It doesn't give me any more to think on that idea. It's just like, hey, isn't that weird? Okay, let's get to the killing now.
it's kind of like it's kind of like a nice dinner where it gives you the appetizer and the salad course, but then just forgets to do anything else.
Right. Yeah, so I kind of want to give this a stone. Like it's like because I did really have some fun with it, but the lack of payoff at the end just kind of makes me makes me sour.
I'll go up one stage and give it a bronze. I think it's still worth checking out, but I don't think it's anywhere near Nick Cage's strongest film he's been in.
Yeah.
And there's just like you said, Ryan, there's enough missing pieces that I want to see more of. and we aren't getting it.
I just dropped in a link in the chat, boys. And I was talking about this movie with someone, and we were going off how, like, this is the ideal sex ed, like, movie, and how pretty much an abridged version of this, I feel like, is that Vine, where it's like, the only thing worse than a rapist is, boom, a child.
No.
But yeah, I stand by my whole government conspiracy thinking, and if that puts me on a list and you somehow don't ever hear from me again, you know why, Internet. Because I'm speaking the truth.
Just the facts.
Just the facts. Yeah, so, yeah, I think I'm gonna finish this off with another callback of Godzilla said, burn the bourgeoisie, and that's my ranking.
That is a ranking, I suppose.
I was surprised it wasn't for MK Ultras.
No. The fuck is wrong with you?
You know what? That's my fault. That's my bad. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
That's your fault. This is your fault for being unable.
Yeah, really, Ryan, it'd be like
subject,
2
right.
MK Ultras more than anything.
Wow. SMH, my fucking head, boys.
Anyway, thank you for listening to this episode. Next week, since we have kind of rearranged the schedule slightly, you can expect to be getting, I'm gonna say probably adaptation, but I might switch it to something else, because this season is gonna be kind of all over the place. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you after the credits.
Bye.
I used to bling it up, I used to dress real shoe. Now I accessorize a food that's already been chewed. And that's alright. I make this diaper bag look good when I'm walking through the mall trying to wrangle my brood. My PB